Hey, good morning everyone. What's up? Hope you're all well and having a wonderful week. Personally, I'm also having a wonderful week here in the markets, here at the office, and basically in general, everything's going well. I hope it is for you guys as well. So, welcome to today's analysis, another week. I think last week we did a very good, solid, fantastic analysis. It was just before the Feds released the interest rate. So, I think if you watched that video, if you're in this episode, if you watched it on YouTube, it was quite good explanation, and I think most things happened as planned, though not all targeting levels in terms of entry were reached, but in terms of the overall play, the dollar strength is exactly what happened. So with that said, a new week, new opportunities, actually a new month, so happy new month everyone. And I'll go through a few analyses here and there, share a few ideas that I have, a few trading ideas I have, and then from then on, as I keep saying, it's not financial advice, but it's all for you to decide what to do. So I'll break down a few analyses that I'm looking at. I think something that is very important to watch for this week is last week we had interest rates. This week we have interest rates and NFP. So yesterday, Tuesday, we had interest rates from the Bank of Australia. So we had the governor Philip Lowe was talking about the interest rates in their country. They maintained it at 0.1, so that was as expected. And then today we don't have much data coming out, but then tomorrow we have interest rates coming out from the Bank of England, the BOE, and the ECB. So very important. Those are also very, very highly, very important data to watch. Then on Friday we end the week with some NFP data coming out. Okay. So if I share my screen so that you can see what I have, and then if you have any questions, please ask me in the chat room. I'll be sure to answer towards the end of the analysis. But just to look at a few data that we have to what I've shared with you. So I'm looking for seeing, I think this whole week since Monday, we've been having a Chinese holiday. My partner here, Justin, has told me they're starting their new year. So I'm seeing now it makes sense why they have bank holidays Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to Friday. Okay, it's a bank holiday for China, so nothing is happening much there. Anyway, China is not a major market that we are normally watching in terms of currency trading. I don't trade the Chinese market, but I trade the others. So with that said, I've already given you an overview of what I was talking about. Also, something important, this is my weekly analysis for what the one I shared on Discord. So if you're in the Discord group under the MSS, I remember I said I'll be sharing every week a link so that you can see how I'm updating my analysis and what I'm watching. So if you go there and look at the 4 main pairs that I'm normally analyzing, if you don't trade any of this, unfortunately I can't do the others because I don't trade them. But if you come here, you can see I've updated everything. Today, Wednesday morning, I think I've kept a few charts. I'm yet to write a few notes, but go to that link and make sure you watch what I'm talking about, especially when it's not time when I'm not analyzing live like this. So during my free time, whenever I have, especially Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, those 3 days are my main days of updating this. So like you can see, I did Monday and I've done Wednesday. So today morning, I've just kept a few images. I'll do the data later. Okay. So with that, I also have at the very bottom data seekers additional note thoughts, so you can just see what I'm normally talking at, like the quote or what I was watching today in Tom Bailey. They basically said poor people invest, middle class save, and the wealthy invest. So since you guys are here, you're looking to be wealthy. That's why you're coming to know how to trade and invest. So you're in the part of the 1% people. You may not yet be there financially, but you're on the way there. So just as a reminder, don't give up. The road is clear and you're not far away from reaching your target. So it's good to see you guys here. And as I said, middle class people save and the poor people spend their money and the wealthy invest. So make sure you get that for today. So just to say it again, poor people spend, middle class save, and the wealthy invest. So that's it for today. That's the quote. So go here. I have the link. Just go through it. It's on the Discord group and you can get to see what I'm talking about. So jumping straight into the charts. My favorite for the week is Dow Jones. Okay, so I'm watching Dow Jones for a possible short trade. Okay, so if I just take the daily chart, looking at the long term, what has the long term been? We've been having, ever since we got low interest rates, this market has been moving in a high low formation. Basically, I'm saying that the market has been moving in an uptrend. Okay, But ever since we got this top when the Fed started talking about increasing interest rates and what they're planning to do in March, we've been seeing this downfall coming. Okay, in January we had this crazy fall, but late last week we've been seeing a bit of a pullback. Basically the whole of last week we've seen a crazy pullback back to the 35,500 mark. But however, I'm looking for a short level at that position. Okay, but I'm patiently waiting. Okay, there's a trend line I removed. There's a trend line here if you look. let me draw with let me make it a bit more thick. So if I draw a trend from the top, okay, so just looking at the top, there you go. Just make this a bit more visible to differentiate it from the counter trends. So you can see we're having a first touch, second touch, third touch. Okay, I'm not a heavily trader against the trend because the overall trend in the long term is actually to the buy side. But looking at this correction, I'm looking at this impulsive move. Look at that correction in the form of a wedge, a very strong impulsive move breaking the 35,500. So if I just zoom out and you get to see the 35,500, it's a very, very crucial level. Look, acted as a very strong support, resistance before. We had a breakout, came and acted as support, again. We had a breakout to the upside, acted as support, breakout again. We had this breakout, okay, over here you can see this impulsive retest of the 35,500, then a push to the downside. Okay, so right now we've seen market moving strongly down, and sort of we're coming back in the form of sort of a flaggish formation back to the 35,500 level. So what am I waiting for here? If I go to the 1 hour chart, I'm waiting for a good confirmation. Okay, if you go to my analysis online, the one that I've shared on the Discord, you'll get to see what exactly I'm watching. But if I explain it here, since you're all here and you get exclusive analysis from me, what am I watching? Look, I just said a clear rejection of 35,500 will trigger a short level, so I'm waiting for a clear rejection. Okay, and by that I mean if you get a spike candlestick and we close as a shooting star, as a doji, as a evening star formation, such data is what I'm waiting for. And something I'm loving about this analysis, something that is quite solid, okay, is the strength that it's moving towards this. So you can see this is a flag formation on the bigger time frame, but within it we have sort of like a wedge-like formation. You can see this impulse correction. So the momentum is sort of dying off. Okay, so two things might happen. We might get that rejection of the 35,500 and move down. Okay, another thing that can happen is a clear breakout and close above. Okay, so market can close above this level with a strong momentum, so that will make me sit out of this trade. So as much as market is within my entry zone, I've not yet gotten an entry signal. Okay, so a signal is important. I always wait for one of the things. I'm waiting on an entry signal, candlestick to close. I have two main candlestick hours I'm watching at the 1 hour and the 4 hour. So I need those confluences to tick. Okay, so those are the part of the things I'm watching. So but if it breaks above and closes above, as I've said, I will sit out and watch this market. But something can happen. It can have a breakout and close above, then later in the New York session you see a close back below. That is another perfect signal that will make me enter this short level. But if you close above and the market gets a follow through of a market continuing to move up, the order flows to the upside, then I'll stay out of that market. Okay, so that's another scenario I'm watching. Another scenario I'm watching is we might not get a shooting star close or anything at this trend line, at this resistance level. What we might get is a breakout of this counter line, this line over here. We might get a breakout to the downside and the market can close with a strong bearish close. Okay, that will signal me also to enter a short level. Okay, so those are that's how I think, that's how I approach the market, that's how I enter. Okay, so this market is highly on my radar. That's the trade for this week. I think this is what I'm watching. That's why you're seeing a lot of things I've kept here. That's my main analysis for the week. So I've done good homework on this one, and that's what I'll be watching. Okay, and another point I've done over here, solid close below the support. So you can see that's 34,800 level. You can see it acted as a strong resistance. Then we had a breakout. Okay, so as much as I'm looking for a short level at this point, if I get that short level and market comes to the 34,800 and starts moving up after rejecting that, then that can warn me that this market might be going for another move and break to the upside. However, if market comes quite well and breaks below with momentum, okay, breaks this level and closes below, then I'll be confirming that the short sellers are in control of that market. So that's what I have on Dow. I think that's a solid analysis I've given you guys. Now it's up to you guys to trade on your side. Know when to enter, when to go short and all that. Okay, but that's a view that I have on this one.
Forex trading is a new language in town. If you are into forex trading, keep listening. Learn the tips of risk management, psychology, and trading strategies on The Trader Show. Subscribe to The Trader Show on YouTube and Spotify. Brought to you by Pepperstone, the broker with the lowest spreads.
On top of that, I'm watching other markets like gold. Gold, I don't see any reason for being long in the long term for now. Okay, if I go the daily chart, according from last week's analysis, remember we talked about this triangular formation. So look at this quite impeccable formation on the triangular pattern. Okay, you can see this rejection of the upper boundary. Look at the rejection of the lower boundary, quite solid, quite fantastic. As I said last week, two things might happen. Okay, this is a whole impulsive move. Okay, so if I draw it for you, so this is a whole, all of this, okay, all of that is an impulsive move. Then we've gotten this correction, okay, in the form of a triangle. Okay, and what can happen is that market will slow down somewhere here and we'll have a breakout of either side, either to the downside or to the upside. The best thing is to wait for a clear breakout. Okay, and normally what happens after triangular formation, something that I've seen time and time again, is normally after triangular formation we can get a very strong impulsive move after a breakout. So it's very important to pay keen attention to gold. If you have it, especially in the long term, pay a lot of attention to it. You might think now it's not moving anywhere, and this is where most people get bored of the market and start saying gold is not moving and they're waiting for the action. But I believe this is where you'll make your money, sitting and waiting for a clear indication for the market to give you, okay, in terms of the direction it's heading next. So for me right now, so with that said, if I go closer, so looking at what is happening right here, okay, so remember we had an impulsive move, a correction in the form of a flag and a good break to the downside. Okay, if I go now to the 4-hour chart, that's on the daily chart. So remember, I'm using the daily chart to look at the overall direction, the overall pattern that the market is forming. So as you can see, I still said overall bearish pattern in play. Okay, so I'm still seeing that this impulsive move to the downside is not yet complete. Yes, we might get a bit of a correction here, but I still see in the long term, I don't see us still going above the 1830. I see us still moving to the downside, at least to the 1760, 1750 support level. Okay, so that's what I'll be watching. We had a good pattern yesterday in the form of a sort of a flaggish formation. Okay, so look at this impulsive move, look at this clear flag formation, rejection of the upper boundary, and the market has broken to the downside. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about a breakout to the downside. It's also a good trigger level to enter shorts. So you can see that breakout and market is sort of moving down. Okay, so with a clear target for this pattern around this support level. Okay, so that's what the market can possibly reach before any other pattern is formed. So overall pattern, overall formation on this one, I still see us in bearish territory. Okay, so that's what I have on gold. If I move down to Aussie dollar had a very good V-shaped recovery. You can see this impulsive move. Look at that correction. I got the daily charts just so I can do a top-down analysis. Level of significance was the 0.700 support level. You can see this support pushed market to the upside, got support sort of in the form of a double bottom, pushed market to new highs. And I keep saying this a lot, levels that push markets to new highs or new lows are levels you should pay important attention to. Okay, so we saw this strong bearish move last year, towards the end of last year, and market came and got support at this level, got a correction in the form of a flag, and got an impulsive move to the downside yet again. That's why I was saying this is a very important support level at the 0.700 level. If you look at the 4-hour chart, you can see sort of this impulsive move in the form of this sort of flag wedge formation. That move was finished. You can see how market completed that formation, and we've gotten a very quick recovery, meaning most of the short sellers took the profit at the 0.700 psychological level. Okay, we've gotten a good recovery. If you look at the 1-hour chart, we had a breakout of a counter trend. Okay, so if you look at this, so you can see this line. So we had this first touch, second touch, or upon this third touch, you can see we sort of had a breakout and market has continued above that level. So the levels that I'm watching for market to move next is this support resistance level. Okay, so you can see this was acting as support, market moved up, we broke out, acted as resistance, and then moved down in the form of this wedge-like formation. This was last week during not NFP, just before the interest rates were released, we got this formation, clear formation, and market pushed to the downside. But now we're sort of pushing back up to go towards that level. So that's my next level to watch. On top of it, after that level, I have this counter trend line to watch. You can see this first touch, second touch, and I'm looking how can market come and react around this level. So simple pattern analysis, just reading the charts, clear and straight to the point. Okay, no indicators, no nothing. So that's what I'm watching on this one. No pattern really. Remember, when market is impulsing, something I teach in my class, when market has this impulse, there's no pattern being formed. So I'm not looking to trade any of that. I'm looking for an impulse, then a correction in the form of certain patterns that I trade, and then I anticipate another impulsive move. So this one is not on my radar this week, so I'm sitting out. Same case to USD CAD. You can see market has been moving. We had sort of this higher high, then we had a higher low. Okay, then markets, just like what we're seeing in the other pairs, we broke out of this counter trend line. Okay, so you can see this first touch, second touch, third touch. Market tried to move lower, but we had this breakout. So we had some dollar strength, especially after interest rates of the US last week. Impulsive move, okay, and sort of we are getting this sort of correction. Okay, but for me, what am I watching? The 1.2620 is of importance. Okay, you can see it acted as a support. Remember, support pushed market to a new high, higher than this previous one. Came, acted as support, impulse, support again, impulse. Then we had this breakout. So right now, during this breakout to the upside, the 1.2620 can act as a good support, and if we continue to get dollar strength, then we can easily see this market skyrocket to the 1.2835 level if we do not get a breakout of this level to the downside. Okay, so remember, market always has different variables, different approaches. If one thing happens, the next is going to happen. So cause and effect. If you get a breakout to the downside, then we'll be looking for shorts. If you get a rejection of this one, then we'll be looking for longs. So I'm never really fixed to one side happening, and that's all I'm looking at. No, I'm very flexible, and anything happens in the market, I'm quick to follow what the market tells me. So that's what I have on this one. Just to finish off, other pairs that I'm just looking at, if you look at DXY, we've had a good correction. If I look at the daily chart, remember I showed last week, we're having a very good move to the upside. So look, high low, high low, good trend line bounce, and a high was formed. Okay, but quickly after that high was formed, a quick rejection, market fell back below the resistance level. Okay, so you can see that impulsive move, a breakout back down. Okay, so one thing I'm watching on this one, this can still be in a very bullish territory. Okay, just getting a few corrections along the way. Remember, it's a new month that has started, and most people are likely to take profits at the end of months. Okay, end of months, end of quarters, so that they can book their portfolio, their books as a profitable month. That's why you can see a lot of corrections happening. Okay, but something that can happen, this I'm looking to see how market will react to this level. Is this a breakout and a retest of this level and further pushes to the upside, or is it a good correction or a good reversal in the market? Okay, so those something I'm watching. This impulsive move was very strong, so I'm still not against the upward trend. I'll still continue to bet with it, but along the way, of course, we expect some correction. So that's dollar index. That's what I'll be watching. Let's see if this will be a retest and market can move higher. If not, remember also, we've come below this resistance level, so market can also still move to the upside, get some resistance here, and move a bit lower yet again. But that's what I'll be watching. That's what is of importance. Remember, I said after an impulsive move, I'm not looking to trade. I'm looking to watch what market will form after an impulsive move. So that's what I'm watching. Will we get a correction over here? If I draw it, will we get another correction over here in the form maybe of a flag and a push to the downside, or will we get another impulsive move and market to continue to the higher side? So this is my main level to watch what pattern is going to form. Okay, so I hope that is clear and straight to the point. If I look at EURUSD, after our targets were hit last week, okay, market has been correcting. So if you remember this, if I look at the daily chart, if you remember this move, we had a good pattern formation. First touch, second touch, third touch in the form of a flag formation. Okay, impulsive move to the downside. Targets were hit. If I go to the 4-hour chart, targets were hit, and now we're seeing market sort of retracing as well. So I don't have anything on this one as well. Remember, just like I showed you guys last week, after this impulsive move, I won't have any bias, any directional bias to the market. To the market. But after this correction, that's what I'm talking about. We get significant information that the market might be continuing in a certain direction, and that's exactly what we got. We got that correction in the form of a flag, good rejection of this level, and that's how we got this impulsive move. Okay, so that's what I'm watching on this one. I don't have any much on this one for now. And if I look at something else, so that's mainly it. GBP, people who trade GBPUSD, what are you watching? I remember we talked about a trend line bounce and sort of market is correcting. So I won't lie to you, I don't have anything on this one, so I won't really force anything. USD JPY, our correction worked as planned. The market continued to the upside after this rejection last week. Okay, if you remember it quite well, we got that rejection of this level. Interest rates acted as a catalyst, and that push went to the upside. So something of importance: always move with the market. For example, now what you can watch on this market is how this trend is going to continue. Okay. Can we get sort of like a flag formation here? Okay, can market continue to form this formation? Remember, the pattern is to the upside. If you look at the daily chart, we've been getting higher highs and higher lows. Okay, look at this. So simple: impulse, correction, impulse, sort of we're getting a correction here. So you can watch that pattern that I've shown you. Okay, any pattern can form. It's never best to predict what pattern is going to happen. Okay, never predict that we're going to have an uptrend or a downtrend. Anything can happen. Okay, so any pattern is going to form here. So that's what I'm watching on this one, though those are extra pairs that I don't trade, but I'm just paying critical attention to. Okay, if I go to, I think that's pretty much it. I don't have anything much. I don't trade Euro JPY. I don't look at it. I have no bias on the yen pairs. So I can't go here and start guessing. Okay, but that's pretty much it, man. That's simple. That's how I analyze. That's what I'm looking at, and that's how I approach the markets. Okay, so that's what I'm watching. I'm waiting for London Open, which is in the next 6 minutes, and I'll be watching how New York will open and how I'll get an entry in my Dow Jones. Okay, so I think Maestro, I see you're asking about a recap on gold. Allow me please to, I'll upload the video on YouTube. I have a few things to run to, but I've done a good analysis on that one, and I don't want to rush into it. I'll upload it on YouTube later on today, and you can watch it hopefully before 1 p.m. So yeah, so that's it. Thank you for joining, thank you for the questions, and I'll see you guys on Friday. So that's it, and have a wonderful week.